Okay, the first step in doing very well on the reading section of the exam is actually understanding the basics of what you have to deal with. So in this lecture, I'm going to review the basics of the IELTS reading exam. So when it comes to this exam, of course, you're going to have 40 questions that you have to do in 40 minutes. You have 3 sections, which means that basically you have 20 minutes per section. However, I like to really tell students that really you need to be able to do section number 1 or part number 1, section number 1 in about 17 to 18 minutes, because reading passage number 3 is the most difficult one, and it probably is going to take a little bit more time. What happens to a lot of students is they have very poor time management, and they'll take 25 minutes on reading passage 1, 25 minutes on reading passage 2, then they have only 10 minutes to finish reading passage number 3, which is the most difficult one, and they kind of destroy their score. So your time management is really, really important. There are 14 question types on the exam. A few question types they don't really ask anymore, but it is always a possibility that a question type from the past might rear its head and appear in the future. And in terms of the answering process, you have to put your answer on the answer sheet immediately. There is no time at the end of the test to transfer answers from the test booklet to the answer sheet. There is no time for that. You have to be able to write your answers down immediately. Now, when it comes to the IELTS reading section, it really is a test of 3 different concepts. Number 1, they're testing your ability to identify keywords in the question. And then they're going to see how well you do at locating or scanning for that keyword language in the reading passage. And then finally, it's all about understanding that sentence in the passage and matching the key language to an answer choice. It's basically those same 3 concepts over and over and over again. Now, some keys to success when it comes to the IELTS reading section. Number 1 is vocabulary. The more vocabulary that you have, the more you increase your chances of scoring very, very well. Vocabulary is a big hindrance to students being able to score 7+. The reason why is because they have to sometimes read a sentence 2, 3, 4 times to understand it, whereas if they had really good vocabulary, they could read it 1 time, process it, find synonym matches, understand paraphrasing very easily, and then they can answer accurately and move forward. So during this process of studying, you have to really, really increase your vocabulary ability. Number 2, the second key to success is scanning ability. This exam really requires scanning ability. It's not like the TOEFL IBT, where the questions go in the order of the reading passage, right? Here, you have to be able to scan. You have to be able to scan, right? So for example, even for a question that goes in order, like a fill-in-the-blank question, you might have a fill-in-the-blank question, and the fill-in-the-blank questions are questions 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you have a reading passage which has 7 paragraphs. Well, you might find 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4 in order, but it starts from paragraph number 5, not from paragraph number 1. Right? It starts from paragraph number 5, and then you find them in order 1, 2, 3, 4. So IELTS scanning is really, really something you have to be able to do. Number 3, third key to success is time management. I mentioned this already. You have 20 minutes per passage. However, I would say that you need to really finish up passage number 1 much faster, because you're going to need that time for passage number 3. You basically have roughly around 1.5 minutes per question to answer it. And finally, a key to success is don't start off just reading the passage, right? Don't do that. A lot of students waste 5 minutes reading the passage. Reading. And all you need to do is go to the questions. That's the first thing you do. Go and look and see what kind of questions am I dealing with? Well, I have a fill-the-blank question, I have a matching question, and a summary question. So I'm going to go ahead and do the fill-the-blank question first. I know it goes in order. Question number 3 is going to be the easiest to find first. I find question number 3. I know numbers 2 and 1 are above it. Numbers 4 and 5 are below it, right? You're able to really move faster by understanding question strategy and not just reading without having any idea in mind of what you're reading for. Okay, so coming up next, we're going to go ahead and get into some of the reading question types. We're going to review those, give you some examples of those questions, and touch on the answering process very briefly. I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and I'll talk to you soon.